In the Turkish town of Mudurnu, there is a ghost town of abandoned fairy tale castles. This eerie place is called Burj Al Babas, and it was once a luxury resort development that was supposed to be home to 732 Disney-inspired mansions. But why is this place empty, and why doesn't everyone know about this grand place? Hello, and welcome back to Iono 6, where we discuss everything about innovation, construction, and future civilization. In today's video, we'll dive down into the story of Burj Al Baba. So, without wasting time, let's get started. It all started out well. The Burj Al Babas resort promised its wealthy owners high-end European-inspired chateau and luxurious amenities, but what should have been a dream construction quickly turned into a nightmare. The inspiration. Sarit Group, the project's developer, envisioned a fanciful and romantic spa resort with 732 villas inspired, among other things, by the Château de Chenonceau in France's Loire Valley and Istanbul's conical Galata Tower. The company chose an exquisite 250-acre property in the hills of northeastern Turkey, just outside the old town of Mudurnu, and construction on the extravagant $200 million creation began around 2011. Sarit Group, led by brothers Mazir and Mehmet Yerdalen and business partner Bülent Yılmaz, wasted little time in creating a killer brochure to entice their target market, wealthy Gulf vacationers. They chose an Arabic name for the project. Burj means tower or turret in Arabic, while Al Babas refers to a well-known spa in the area. Visitors from the Gulf have long been drawn to this region of Turkey for its pleasant climate, green scenery, and calm spa towns. The vision. A huge amusement complex housed in a neoclassical structure with architectural inspiration to the US Capitol, St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, and London's St. Paul's Cathedral would have been at the heart of the development. The thermal springs beneath the development are renowned for their restorative properties, and Sarit Group intended to capitalize on this extraordinary resource by outfitting the central complex with a number of jaw-dropping features, including an aqua park complete with water slides and streams, indoor pools, Turkish baths, saunas, and steam rooms. The water, a renewable resource, would have also been used to heat the complex. According to this rendering of an indoor covered pool under one of the building's domes, the interiors of Burj Al Babas would have been dripping in exquisite marble. The resort's hub was supposed to have a slew of additional opulent attractions in addition to the spa. Boutiques, restaurants, cinemas, children's play areas, conference halls and meeting rooms, fitness and beauty centers, tennis and basketball courts, and covered football pitches are among them. Sarit Group intended to provide many of the services at no cost to homeowners, making it a very appealing option for investors. Each of the 732 planned castles was created in the same fanciful architectural style as though plucked from a storybook. According to consultant architect Nasi Yoruk, the customers insisted on the distinctive chateau design. Needless to say, he went all out, including Disney-esque turrets, mansard roofs, dormers, balconies with stone balustrades, and a plethora of decorations. The interiors of the fantasy homes were to be equally, if not more magnificent, with high ceilings, ornate plasterwork, parquet flooring, and other fine finishes, as well as a sweeping spiral staircase rising to the upper level and stunning rooftop patio. Each floor was to include a jacuzzi, where homeowners could soak in curative spa waters, and buyers were given the option of an indoor pool and lift. With the building underway, Sarit Group established an office in Kuwait and began marketing its utopian vision with homes ranging between $370,000 and $500,000. The reality. Meanwhile, local opposition to the divisive proposal was growing. While Mudurnu Mayor Mehmet Nagol is claimed to be entirely supportive of the project, some members of the town have reportedly criticized it, claiming that the little chateaux are completely out of place and will end up blighting the scenery. Mudurnu, a possible UNESCO World Heritage Site, stretches back to Roman times and is known for its outstanding Byzantine and Ottoman architecture. Since then, the Turkish government has enacted legislation aimed at preserving the historical integrity of the country's cities, towns, and villages and preventing similar schemes from moving forward. However, the rules were imposed after work on the Burj Al Babas had begun and construction continued uninterrupted, with a peak staff of 8,000 toiling away on the project. The mayor tried to calm residents' fears by assuring them that the development would be concealed away in a valley outside of town. However, the purported loss of 82 black pine and oak trees, as well as the dumping of excavated earth on 6.5 acres of pristine woodland, has outraged Mudurnu villagers who are already upset over the resort's outlandish architecture. In 2015, an official criminal complaint was filed against Burj Al Babas. The indictment was issued the next year, and in 2018, a lawsuit was launched alleging Sarah Group of environmental damage. According to all accounts, the matter is still making its way through the local courts, but this wasn't the only issue the developers were dealing with. The final blow. During the early stages of development, the fantasy castles were selling like hotcakes, and the project's financial prospects looked promising. Buyers with deep pockets from Kuwait, the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia were queued up to invest in the project and obtain their own French-style castle, but storm clouds were brewing. The Turkish economy was collapsing, and falling oil prices were pinching the developers' target market hard. Sales began to dwindle, but construction work continued. By the summer of 2018, 587 tiny chateaux had been built, albeit at various stages of completion, but only about 350 had been sold. A substantial proportion of buyers were apparently failing to pay the cost of the villas, adding to the developers' financial troubles. The project was in debt up to its eyes. The Sarah Group was plunging into a financial abyss. With the company's debt load approaching $27 million, it needed to sell the remaining mini castles quickly. Show villas, which appeared to be more modest than the brochure renderings promised, were set up, but business remained slow. Sarah Group petitioned for a concordat in June 2018, which is an agreement that allows well-intentioned and honest debtors to pay back a portion of what they owe in order to please creditors and avoid bankruptcy. According to reports, the court ordered the firm 3 months to pay off its debt in accordance with the provisions of the agreement, but Sarah Group was unable to meet the deadline. Costs began to grow out of hand, as they do with many abandoned palaces found across the world. The court denied Sarah Group's request to restructure the outstanding obligations and instead enforced a bankruptcy judgment in November 2018. Despite repeated requests, construction came to a standstill. Aftermath. Sarah Group said at the time that it only needed to sell another 100 homes to pay off its debts. Sarah Group chairman Mehmet Emin Yerdalen said in November 2018, "The project is valued at $200 million. To pay off our debt, we only need to sell 100 villas. I believe we can overcome this difficulty in 4 to 5 months and begin work on the project in 2019. Sadly for the group, nothing appears to have happened in the years since Yerdalin's good words. Burj Al Babas has essentially become a ghost town, and while the court eventually allowed Sarah Group to continue marketing the completed small chateau after the firm's lawyers filed an appeal, the project has been virtually placed on pause indefinitely. The Turkish government reduced the minimum property investment required for a foreign national to gain citizenship from $1 million to $250,000 in 2018 in an effort to entice global property investors to support the declining market. But Burj Al Babas was still struggling. The abandoned structures now stand empty in an unsettling scene of apparently endless residences. Some customers may have been turned off by the lack of privacy provided by the villas. While each has a tiny garden, the mini chateaux are virtually shoulder to shoulder, with very little space between them. Mehmet Yerdalen told the New York Times, "They ask for walls, but I say no. There will be trees instead." The New York Times also met with Imad Yusuf, a real estate broker in Kuwait, who has decided to remain optimistic about the situation. He said, "I hope to make some money, and I will use it myself. When the project is finished, God willing, it will be amazing." Other buyers, as you can imagine, aren't quite so optimistic. Investor Nelufer Ons told Eerie Daily News, "In 2013, I purchased a timeshare studio for 13,000 Turkish liras. I fully paid the cost. My timeshare was supposed to be delivered in 2015, while another investor called for his money to be refunded." In November 2019, there was a breakthrough. Sarah Group has cleared 50% of its debts by this stage, convincing the court to overturn the bankruptcy order. To the joy of the developer and the project's investors, permission was granted to resume construction of the remaining villas. A breath of fresh air. Construction was halted again over the winter owing to harsh weather, and then the COVID pandemic struck, presumably adding another major delay due to lockdown and other disease prevention measures. Nonetheless, Burj Al Babas has received a large number of tourists, and the abandoned fantasy mansions have quickly become cult attraction. Alexander Humbert, a conceptual designer and director, shot a short film at Burj Al Babas in February 2020, reinventing the location as a theme park named Sleeping Beauties, where guests pay a nominal entrance charge to shoot the empty homes. Meanwhile, the music video for Medusa's huge single, Lose Control, which has an edgy post-apocalyptic vibe, was shot in and around the modern ghost town last autumn. The video currently has more than 118 million YouTube views. The place has also drawn its fair number of urbex fans. In December, intrepid vlogger and BBC's The Travel Show host Mike Corey visited Burj Al Babas with a couple of friends and shared a video of the event on his Fearless and Far YouTube channel, garnering over 2.5 million views. Nobody knows when or if this abandoned development will be finished. Mezir Yedalin promised to complete the development by 2021, but that was before the coronavirus outbreak, which will no sure have slowed work considerably more. Going by the most recent photographs of the development, as well as the project's super quiet social media accounts, which have been more or less idle for months, the possibility of the development being completed by the end of 2023 appears rather slim. Still, we hope that Burj Al Babas will have a good ending. That's it for today. Hope you liked the video. Share it if you did. Like and comment on the video that you want to see next on our channel, and subscribe to see our future videos. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep watching.